Good morning. What is your choice of the toothpaste? Write down and then let us understand the biochemistry behind this choice. Vascular, the base is vascular response to anoxia. On this side, you see the arterial blood, oxygen rich, hemoglobin oxidized, converting to unoxidized hemoglobin. And if oxygen decreases, this deoxygenated hemoglobin would increase. Now that will synthesize not no synthase but nitric oxide synthase. And this nitric oxide synthase will activate the NAD, which lends 2 electrons to L-arginine, with oxygen will convert into L-citrulline, and this nitric oxide will be released. Now this nitric oxide will act on various areas. On the stem cells, it will produce repair. The immune system response, membrane response to defense depends on it. At the synapse, it converts to glutamate, increases synaptic transmission. But most important, endothelial nitric oxide will relax the smooth muscle. It will close the calcium channels, so calcium can't get in, and muscle contraction depends on calcium. It opens the potassium channels, and thus it increases hyperpolarization and relaxes the smooth muscle. So on one hand, the vessel becomes dilated, and on the other hand, it acts on the platelets so that there is no clotting. So it decreases platelet activity, the blood supply improves, and oxygen improves. Thus, if the local cells in your body suffer from less oxygen, then they activate this endothelial synthase, and by nitric oxide, which is a short-lived molecule, there is temporary vasodilatation and restoration of oxygen. Now, if your endothelial synthase at 20 years was 100, so that was at 20 years. At 50, it will become 10, and then it will go on decreasing. And this poor response to anoxia by vasodilatation leads to a poor arterial health, and thus this is called as arterial aging. It is measured by endothelial thickness of the carotid artery. Then a good immune response makes you, a poor immune response can make you susceptible to infection. Another smooth muscle dilation activity leads to bronchodilation. It stimulates stem cells, and therefore it increases repair. And finally, it decreases telomerase enzyme, and therefore it leads to telomere protection, and overall it decreases biological aging. If this mechanism is not active, then nitrates cannot be converted to nitrites. They get converted to nitrosamines, which inflames the muscle, decreases performance, and is overall responsible for a condition with aging called sarcopenia, less muscles. At the nerve level, nitric oxide synthase is secreted postsynaptically, but it increases glutamates, which are responsible for memory. And memory, is very important for all muscle functions, including balance. So, what should be done is have nitrate rich foods. Which are green leafy vegetables and roots such as beetroot or carrots. Secondly, chew them well so that saliva has plenty of nitrates. Thirdly, protect the oral and nasal biome by not using toothpastes which will kill it, like Colgate, or antibiotics, or mouthwashes. Use that toothpaste which was rich in nitrate. So, protect your oral biome. Then this oral biome is also nasal and is stored in nasal sinuses. And this nose breathing and sounds like Om, in which the sound comes from the nose, vibrations of the sinuses through the nose, would enhance this bacterial activity. So, sound production would enhance nitric oxide. But as usual, since we don't know, we make lots of mistakes, and therefore now there are in the market many brands of L-citrulline and L-arginine. L-arginine comes before the L-citrulline. But in all these brands that you take, L-citrulline offers more consistent performance benefits. It supports endurance, hydration, and nitric oxide production better over time, and enhances results and speeds up recovery, and therefore this appears to be the ideal amino acid choice. So, this is what knowledge can do to your choices.